Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in today's bulletin, council staff advise against dam funding, Stanton 1 Council 0, heck of a run of bad luck, and victory for young filmmakers, and much, much more. Council CEO Lindsay McKenzie has stated that he will be advising Council not to proceed on the funding options proposed for the Waimea Dam project. Tasman District Council staff will present a report to Council at Thursday's meeting, stating that neither of the funding options for the proposed Waimea Community Dam should be adopted. On analysis of submissions, the proposal to fund the project entirely from rates is not affordable for the community nor for the Council. Mr McKenzie said he doubts that there is any way of allocating the cost of such a large project onto ratepayers or the direct beneficiaries in a way that is fair and affordable. The report does, however, provide a way forward for consideration by councillors. He said there is still a strong case for argumenting the supply of water available on and around the Waimea Plains. For that reason, he will also be advising the Council to provide for a dam when it consults on the long-term plan for 2015-25. His report also covers conditions on which a commitment to a dam could be made, and he recommends that submitters' concerns about the method of funding the environmental flows be heeded. Also, that further investigation into the best size for a dam be undertaken and an external funding be actively sought. Thursday's council meeting will be attracting what is expected to be a sizable group of protesters outside of Tasman Council at 9 a.m. to voice their concerns. Lewis Stanton has won his case against the council this week when the judge ruled in his favour. The High Court Judge Justice Lowell Goddard ruled against the injunction, saying it was pointless and that the true target of the case was the horse and cart that Stanton, also known as Honi Mahiki, brought to town. The judge found council had an inconsistent approach to Stanton because it focused on just one mode of transport. She said that this indicates a true target of the injunction is not simply Mr Stanton's flagrant disregard for the bylaws, but the bringing of the horse and cart into the city and parking it, which suggests antipathy towards Mr Stanton and his horse. The judge was not convinced the injunction was required or appropriate. The injunction directed Mr Stanton to pay for parking and stick to parking time limits in the city centre. Justice Goddard said existing laws were sufficient to deal with the issue. Lewis Stanton had stacked up over $50,000 in fines from parking with the CBD, causing Nelson City Council to seek the injunction in the first place after continuing to ignore parking bylaws. The judge acknowledged Stanton had multiple infringements which had led to court prosecutions and which he will be sentenced for this Friday. A burglary at the butcher's shop in Whakatu Estate over the weekend was reported to police Monday morning. Sergeant Craig Barker of the Tactical Crime Unit said thieves had taken a substantial amount of meat that was likely to be intended for commercial purposes. He said the offenders would have required a large van or small truck to remove the goods. Taken in the burglary were about 30 large Christmas hams, several hundred salamis, and a large quantity of steak. Some of the salamis had distinctive Christmas-themed wrappers. The theft was an extremely harsh blow for the business owner, who has suffered a run of bad luck. The business had moved to Nelson from Christchurch after being hit twice by earthquakes in the city. Shortly after moving to Nelson, the premises suffered from the Whakatu flooding, and more recently it was damaged by a fire after a neighbouring building caught fire. We sent James to speak with Ulrich Heck, who has been knocked by this latest incident just before his busiest time.
I'm here this morning with Ulrich Heck to talk about the terrible robbery that's happened at his workplace. So, Ulrich, what was taken from here?
All my meat and a little bit equipment, but it's not major, but mainly the meat. All the Christmas hams, which was prepared, and salamis, everything. My whole cool room empty.
How much is this going to affect you?
Oh, quite a lot. The reason is I have not much to sell, or I have to stock up and try to make as much as possible in the last 2 weeks before Christmas. That's all what I can do.
Do you still think you're going to be able to make the Christmas orders, or is this going to affect the families there as well?
I try my best, and I think I have a few night shifts before in ahead of me, but I can't promise anything. But I try my best to make everyone happy and get all the orders done.
Well, we hope you can. And is there anything people should look out for? Like if there's any meats on the streets that would be yours that they should really not stay?
Definitely, that would be much appreciated if someone get offered some special meats, and I'm quite sure my products are quite unique. That means they are actually or they're not difficult to find. If someone get offered some meat, please go forward, call the police, or come even here and let me know that we can maybe find the guys who burgled all these things.
And are there any kind of special packaging that they should look out for that might link them back to you?
Also a few Christmas salamis were in a special casing which I import from Germany, and boxes which they are from Germany, which nobody has here. That may be a thing, but a lot of meat were even unpacked. Even the raw meat, which they took, which I had prepared for this week's production, they only took the raw meat, everything. And yeah.
Wow. And if anybody can give a hand, is there anything they can do to help you?
Definitely in the future to come around and buy some meat and enjoy the good quality which I do, and that would be actually a big thing to support me for the near future. That would be a nice thing.
Do you have anything to go on about the people that did take the stuff, like how many there were, or any video footage or anything of them?
Also, I would say, look, that was around 12 to 1400 kilos of meat, and I'm quite sure you can't take that by yourself out of the cool room. Also, that must be really targeted and a bunch of people to do that. Even if you can't get all the meat in one go in a car, that means there must be here with a truck or something. Also, that must be, from my opinion, it looks like really targeted and organized. Also, it's not an one go situation. That was really targeted and.
Yeah, so it's obviously not just something random then.
No, definitely not.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about all this, and hopefully you can get all sorted again and get back on your feet. And if there's anyone who does know anything or has seen anything, heard anything, then please contact the police, because it really is a shame what's happened here. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming over.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Police are hoping that someone with a conscience will be offered a cheap ham and salami, put two and two together, and can assist in identifying the offenders. Please contact Nelson Police on 546 3840, or information can be given anonymously by calling Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. The results are in, and Tasman District Police have retained their high level of public trust and confidence in the latest Citizen Satisfaction Survey results released last week. Acting Tasman District Commander Detective Inspector Karen Malthus said that sustained results Tasman had achieved were very pleasing. What these results tell us is that our staff have the confidence of the communities they are charged with looking after. Police rely on having the trust and confidence to be effective in our work. People who trust us to do a professional job will come forward with information and will not shy away from making a complaint when they have been victimised in some way. She said that often people are only motivated to comment on their experience with police when things haven't gone well. So these results give her a very good indication of the professional and fair way her staff are interacting with the public every day. Tasman District scored above the national average in every measure in the survey, and residents' overall satisfaction with police service increased from 84% to 87%, which is 3 percentage points above the national average. Police also met or exceeded 90% of residents' expectations in the year to the end of June. It's great news for us, as the Top of the South health services are going from strength to strength, according to 2 reports released on Monday. A major theme for the year was integration both across community and hospital services, as well as a more joined-up district-wide service. The release of the Top of the South Service Review was a milestone that has set the scene for clinical governance that spans Nelson and Marlborough. This, combined with the Top of the South Health Alliance, which brings together executives of the primary health organisations, Public Health Service and PHO, along with other community organisations, creating closer working relationships. The 2014 Quality Report Patient Stories Healthcare Initiatives in Nelson Marlborough gives a snapshot of quality improvement work across the DHB. CEO Chris Fleming said that with the cooperation and support of the staff, the Nelson Marlborough DHB have moved from the 2.9 million deficit reported for the year ending 30th of June 2013 to a surplus of 4.4 million for the 2014 financial year. You may have heard of speed dating. Well, Nelson now has introduced speed busking as the new norm, with a 30-minute rule being imposed in Nelson for those wanting to busk in the city. Will we now be seeing buskers with chalk marks on them to enforce the time limits as with the free parking trial? Which, judging by how many were seen being rubbed off tyres on Saturday morning, will prove just as ineffective but immensely profitable for the lucky private company Environmental Investigations Limited, who has a special relationship with council and gets given these enforcement contracts along with many others without the need to tender. We asked people their thoughts on council's busking rules.
Nelson Council have limited buskers to only half-hour slots in one place. What do you think of that?
I think they deserve more than half an hour because it brings a really good vibe around Nelson.
It seems a bit pointless if they can just move on somewhere else. Because, time will just carry on, won't it? Yeah, but I like to hear buskers.
Well, I think the council give a good consideration to it, but it seems half an hour in any one place is about right length of time.
I suppose it depends on how much material a busker's got. If they're repeating themselves after half an hour, then maybe it's time to move on. But if they've got plenty of material, we'll let them play. I don't really see a problem. I've never had congestion as a result of a busker in Nelson, so I'd let them play.
Well, as a visitor here, I think that busking adds flavour to the place, providing they're not, blocking the traffic or doing anything like that. I think that's fine by me.
For me, just the other day, walking up the street, and it was just like, oh, there's another busker. I thought it was fantastic,
Primary School have produced some winners who took out a prize in the National Sustainability Film Competition with their debut film, No More Cats. The short film was made to show how our native birds are under threat by the feline species. Competition judges impressed with the entry said it was an incredibly balanced film that made good use of historical detail, showing a genuine desire to explore the issue. 20 winners were chosen from 140 entries in the Outlook for Someday Challenge. 10-year-old Phoenix Binny Gannett, the film's writer and director, was joined by Wiramu Avaramidis and Blade Hewlett, and were the only Nelson-based winners. The Bad Cat team, led by Phoenix, decided to focus on the issue of cats as predators, and as some of the team are autistic, they chose to include the line, "By the way, some of us are autistic," in the film's credits. And here's the winning film, No More Cats.
Hello, my name is Phoenix and I love birds. I want to get rid of all the cats in New Zealand because they are killing our native birds. What? Well, I know you love your cats, but this country needs our birds.
I normally give my cat a real hint if it gets birds, but most of the time it doesn't because it's so lazy.
Some cats aren't lazy, only big fat ones are lazy.
What?
Because there are a lot of cat lovers and bird lovers, so I wouldn't really be fearful of the bird lovers or cat lovers. And what I'm trying to say is, I love birds more than cats, but there are a lot of cats in the world.
Big bells, and if they came in any proximity to birds, that sends off a siren or something, and the birds fly away. Just an idea.
Cats are one of my favourite animals, and I don't think we should be getting rid of cats to save the bird life. There are other ways to do it. You get a bit, maybe we need to register cats, just like we do dogs, but it's part of life cycle and nature that certain animals kill other animals and eat them for their food. So I love cats. I have 3 of my own, and no way am I getting rid of them.
What?
Kids shouldn't kill birds because it's good, because we wake up in the morning by their singing.
Let me tell you the story about the Stevens Island. When a long time ago, there was an island not so far away from Nelson. It was called Stevens Island. There was a lighthouse keeper named Mr. Lyon. He bought a cat. The cat's name was Tibbles. Tibbles was pregnant. She gave birth to her kittens. As soon as they could stand up and walk, they went all over the island. Since the Stevens Island one couldn't fly very well, they were an easy target. There was somebody called Buller and Child. They bought the skins of the Stevens Island when Rothschild and Buller were in competition to get the most. They paid over $1,000 per bird. How sad is that? The cat brought the bird to the lighthouse keeper. The lighthouse keeper skinned it. Don't know what they did with the guts and stuff. Probably gave it to the cat. And then he would just sell it. And that's pretty sad.
This cat would hide behind a little brick fence, stone fence every day, catch birds. Yeah, and the birds would go past, and the cat would just be so fast that the birds wouldn't know what had happened. And then the next day, because birds have really short memories, well, of what happens in places. So the birds will come back down that same place, not even remembering there's a cat there. And that cat, I bet that cat got well fed, eh? Yeah, but I bet its owner was pretty happy for not having to feed it very often. Yeah.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.